Yo guys, how's it going? Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a 12-month review of a camera that I have been using pretty much very consistently. This is the Panasonic Lumix GX80 or GX85 as it's known in the US. And I'm going to talk about 5 reasons why it's an absolutely baller camera if you're starting out in photography and videography, but also if you are a bit of a traveler and you like to live life in a minimalist way and you don't want to carry around too much gear. This camera is great. Let me dive in. The first reason, and the reason why I got this, is because the stabilization here is incredible. We all know that there is no such thing as the perfect camera, and when Panasonic and Lumix took their grab on what they're gonna do really well in camera equipment, it is the in-body stabilization. I mean, this thing, it's, if you're walking around and if you're just doing handheld shots, it is great. You pretty much, all you have to do is walk quite slowly, and even if you are just walking and you're filming yourself and your hand is a bit trembling, it's a bit shaky, that is completely gone. When you have your videos and you're reviewing that in post, I mean, I 99% of the time didn't even have to apply warp stabilizer on this thing because it is just that good. Which ties in very nicely with the second reason. It is tiny. Look at the form factor. My hand, boom, look at this, fits in nicely. It's like a little brick over here. And this is important because, again, if you are running and gunning and if you are a traveler, you don't want to be lugging around a Steadicam or a gimbal or anything else, a tripod. You just want to be able to whip this out and start taking pictures and start taking videos. And the reason why I think those two actually come in together quite nicely is because if you're a beginner, you need to like familiarize yourself with the technique and basically practice as much as you can, as I've been doing for a year now, to shoot whatever you want, cinematic video, photography. So you need to have this on you all the time. So form factor, super important, and this has got it. The third reason is this, despite being an older model, it actually does 4K, which is good because when you are also learning to shoot and take photos, you're also in a parallel way learning to edit and being able to crop into your 4K footage and be able to sort of zoom in onto specific details, whether you're shooting landscapes or portraits or whatever, and cropping out specific things. Very useful. So that will teach you not only how to shoot, but also how to edit and work well in Premiere or whatever it is that you're trying to master. The fourth reason is inside this little camera, you have a setting. You have a setting in video, which is currently switched off, but if you can see, 4K live cropping. And what this basically does is it takes the sensor, the full sensor, and it crops into from 4K into 1080p, and it does like a very smooth pan effect, which is really cool because if you have even the kit lens, you can zoom in fully on that kit lens, and then because of the crop, the way it crops in and the way it pans, it actually produces a very smooth and a very steady pan, which looks like it's been shot on a slider, or more sort of technology went into it, whilst it's actually done in body of the camera with a cool feature that I've enjoyed, and when I've traveled around, I've used that a lot. And the fact that this has it and you can do it without needing to do it in post, really cool. And the fifth reason kind of ties in, well, it ties into two things. First of all, price. You can get these now brand new on Amazon with the kit lens for £350. Used will be even cheaper, probably like £250, which is incredible because, again, when you're starting out and you're taking this everywhere with you, you want to have the feeling of frugality. You want to be able to take it out, shoot, edit, take it out in any conditions, and not be too afraid of it being damaged or stolen, or maybe, you know, scratched up a little bit. The fact that this is cheap, you know, in camera prices, it gives you that peace of mind. So you can just whip it out as much as you can, and have fun. Because this is a micro four thirds sensor, you can pretty much adopt any lens that you want on this. Because micro four thirds is smaller than APS-C or obviously full frame, the lenses that you can put onto this, you can pretty much, the way the system works is that you can put anything from cheap vintage to even cheap sort of Chinese lens that I have on here right now. This is the newer 28mm, which I've done a review on already, to high-end Canon lenses and whatnot. You just have to buy the right adapter. Granted, you might lose some features if it's an electronic lens because it might not be able to communicate, but having the ability to just pick up any old lens and giving you a fast aperture for very, very little money, especially when you're starting out, that is important because you don't want to overinvest. Really, really cool, really, really crucial, and this gives you that as well. Now, the complaint that a lot of vloggers or content creators online have is that there is no flip out screen and there is no plug-in microphone. Now, yeah, those two things kind of suck, but I've actually, from my 1 year experience, I've found a way around it. The first of all is that if you are using it to vlog, to record yourself, you will probably end up placing an ND filter or a variable filter, okay, which is basically one of these little things. This is a variable filter, and it dims and it becomes darker, and you need this to basically control your shutter speed and to make sure that the motion blur is correct. Now these things actually, they have a little bit, if you can see here, they've got a little bit, in this light that you can't really see it, but it's got a reflective sort of element. You see here, there, that's reflecting off my computer screen, okay? So because it's got a reflective element, 9 out of 10 times when you're walking around in daylight, you can actually see the reflection of your face. And although that doesn't give you the correct exposure, what I found is when you slap one of these things on, and if you are basically able to hold out the camera like this, and if you're seeing in the reflection your mouth, not your eyes but your mouth, then your shot will pretty much be in perfect frame. I can't guarantee the correct exposure because obviously that varies, but if you put it into program mode where the camera basically figures out the exposure for you, and you have one of these Vario ND filters, you're good to go. You can actually frame your shot, and you can control your shutter speed, and in semi-automatic mode, even the exposure compensation, if you put it on aperture priority, the aperture will actually vary to make sure that your exposure will be correct. So there is a workaround that. With regards to audio, look, the truth is that when you record externally, you'll get a much more crisp and a much better file of audio by itself. So, I mean, what I just do is I clip on an MP3 that I have on my jumper or my t-shirt underneath. So that works really well for me. So yeah, 2019, I think this is definitely worth it. Have a look if you're just starting out. If you found this useful, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys in another video.